I'm about to bring you probably one of the most harrowing interviews that I've ever done. Be prepared to be shocked and have a mind that's open, because what you're about to hear could change the way you view the world today. It's taken a lot to do this. So hi, so Brian, nice of you to join me tonight, and thank you very much for agreeing to come forward and have a chat with me about situation regarding Madeleine McCann, and we've had a chat offline, so I've got to know you a little bit. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself, if you're able to tell me anything at all, and then I'd like to ask you the first question about the big one we want to know, which is what happened to Madeleine.
Okay. I've been having dealings with Gary Potter for a long time.
Okay.
He is sort of father to my partner.
Right.
And he's been threatening to kill her and sending messages for a long, long time.
Well, let's unpack this then. First of all, I'm really grateful for you coming forward, and I know it's difficult for you, and it's obviously difficult for your partner. It must be an emotional time, but I'll try and be as straight as I can. But like anything else, I do get contacted by a lot of people, and let's say I'm starting from a position of I don't believe you, but I want to believe you. So part of this is going to be a little bit about how we can bring that together, and maybe then share this with the audience as well, and in terms of what the reality really is. So the first question I'm going to ask you is Harry Potter. You mentioned it's the sort of father to your partner, and you know him. I mean, what makes you sure that he was involved in the Madeleine McCann case?
Well, in all honesty, now this is actually going to sound ridiculous and it's going to sound unbelievable, but the reason that I know it's the case is because he told me.
Right.
He sent many, we're talking hundreds of messages. Some of them were emails, some of them were texts, some of them were handwritten.
Right.
And all of them basically telling me all the information that I've told you. Also, some of the things that we're not talking about right at the moment,
yeah,
my partner actually witnessed.
Wow. So how do we unpack this then? So I'm gonna read something to you. So just for the listeners and the people who follow me, maybe understand a little bit about this, is that Brian here has sent me information which I've been able to read over and to check, and it could just be I'm not saying just a text message, and I'm not being flippant when I say that, but it could be something that somebody could just make up. So maybe if I just unpick it a little bit, and if I read some of the information out that I've got, then that you sent me, maybe we can have a look at it. And I can't almost believe that this man who's carried out these atrocities and the things that he's done would actually put it in writing. I intend to put some of the messaging in intervals such as this. All information, including videos, will be stored securely on a variety of drives and servers for safekeeping. That's the thing that I can't. Why would he put it in writing to you? What would be the reason for that?
Okay, well, it's not actually just put in writing, because at the time it happened, he was actually showing her underwear around, and he was bragging about it within family members. It was not a secret.
And what would make him brag?
And not long after she disappeared, I think it was something like 10 days or so after she disappeared, his partner, Barbara, actually showed my partner the video of her being raped and killed.
Oh.
So it's not just the messages. The family, which was Barbara, Gary, and Jason Potter, they were obsessed with that child. they lived that child's like 24/7. They never shut up about it and the way that she'd been abused and what things may have happened with them already knowing what had happened. So even before these messages, my partner already knew loads of information already. Now, as for saying, why did he admit it? He actually says in some of the messages why he's admitted it. There are two main reasons. The first one is he's bragging about it, and he's bragging about the fact he can get away with it.
So he's a grass.
The second one is he's saying, I'm untouchable. I've given you all this information, and no one will believe it, and no one will touch it because it's too dangerous. And because he's getting protected by the police, and the police have warned quite a few people off, and they have, let's just say they've disappeared for good. Like 7 or 8 people have disappeared. They've been murdered.
So he's like I'll come on to it in a short while. A super grass is probably the best way to describe him, because that's the only reason I can think of prediction. So I'm looking at, and I'll put it on the screen now. It says, "Hi Justine, it's your dad. Me and my friends are involved in the Madeleine McCann disappearance. She looked like you when she was her age. See the photo of her that I've enclosed, as one of my friends was there in the pool watching." While she was playing. So it sounds like they've got information that she's been targeted. Surely that's kind of what I'm getting from it. They're saying she looks like you. It's like they've been planning this for a long time.
Yeah.
Would you think that's probably right?
I got information today from another source to say that this was planned quite some time before, and the person or persons that gave the information that facilitated it all was one of those, was it 7:10 or something? 7:10?
Yeah.
One of that group actually gave them the information to be able to do this targeting.
I'm reading it, and it's the second one on the back page. It says, "We gave it to the little girl too, because last night we went into their apartment room, and one of the toddlers woke up crying along with the little girl we have taken, and tried giving them anesthesia last night, but then we had somebody talking close by and we had to leave in a hurry." So this is like the second night. So they were there for a number of days, I would assume, by looking at this, because it's not been a quick snatch and run away, is it? It's been, they've been there.
There were 2 attempts.
Right. 2 attempts.
Yes.
Because if that was the case, if there was 2 attempts, sorry, Brian, just for me jumping in there, they must have planned. If this had been planned, she was 3 when she was taken and raped and murdered. And if you think back a year or 2 years, if this had been in the planning, there's somebody within that organisation, within that group of friends that McCanns have, must have been working with these people to get, 1, where they're staying, 2, when they're arriving, and what the opportunities are to steal this little girl. Is that fair to say? I'm just trying to get my head around it. Then another message here, and it says here, "We plan to kidnap, and we gave the 2 toddlers anesthesia, anesthetic, and gave the little girl too, because last night when I went into the apartment, when the toddler was crying," and it just talks about those planning days before it really happened. And when it happened, they made it look like it was a set-up event. So do you think, if I think about it, when they took the girl out of the apartment, what did they do with her?
Well, she was put in a car. The car, apparently, this is information I've got just fairly recently, was actually the hire car that was hired to the McCanns a bit later.
Right. So the hired car, which had blood in it, did it? Had blood in it?
Yes. Well, I think it said it was contaminated with bodily fluids, so I'm not sure what that meant.
Right. Because that would then tell me that the hire car guys must have been involved in some way in this planned event.
Well, I've got messages to say that's the case, because what happened was, it's very explicit in the messages, that what happened was the hire people made sure that exactly the same car that had not been cleaned in the specific places was then hired to the McCanns so that they could be set up.
Right. So do you
which
think
would suggest that the McCanns were not involved if they wanted to set them up.
But somebody within the circle must have been involved because they knew the movements. And the child would be there and planned. Because another message I've got here, again, you supplied to me, and it's from Guy Pot again. It says, Madeline's rape and murder. She was killed for a while because she was going from one paedophile ring to another. So they'd made money, like we were sold. And they continued to rape. And then obviously they killed her. Now, that tells me when Buckner and his group took her to a caravan or to something else, I think a message I've seen, that they raped her in that area, but then sold her on to somebody else, who then sold her on to somebody else. And then at that time, this Gary Potter, who was all over this, he then videoed raping her and then killing her.
No, I believe Bruckner videoed it.
Buckner videoed it. Okay.
Now, also, recent information is, and apparently this is a video, I got information about 3 or 4 o'clock this morning, that quite a few people, you feeling all right? You sitting down and you're all right?
Yeah.
Quite a few people paid to rape her when she was dead.
Oh my God.
How you look now is how I felt when I was told.
At this moment, I had to take a break. I just couldn't take it anymore. The thought just horrified me. Then I recovered and started again.
And then after all that was done, apparently this is fairly normal in some cultures, but they removed her womb through her vagina. Manually.
At this moment, I had to take a longer break. My brain couldn't compute what I've just been told.
Now, I have seen this on many messages about other victims by the same group, and also that was attempted. Gary Potter tried to do that to my partner as well. Exactly the same things. So what was done to her was the same MO as what was happening to my partner over a number of years. Which is, again, is the reason I'm so convinced that it's all part of the same thing, because there's nothing new in it.